75% of people in a national study, when they say, what do you think about when you think about libraries, they think about books. I love that. That's why we get into the business that we're in, right? Because we love all of these books that are around. But these are books, and these are books. More digital books were sold on Amazon last year than hard print books. We have to be changing and ever evolving. We have downloadable ebooks for our customers, and it's a booming part of the business that we do. But both of these things, and no matter what envelope a book comes in, those are just tools. The real business we are in is not just about this little icon that you see for libraries, but it's also about this. Technology is a tool as well. Both of these things are library. And when I talk about libraries and I say, you know, I love that people think of books because books are important to me, but we really are in the quality of life business. We really aren't any different than the police or public works or the chamber or any of those things, because that's what we care about. And our business line, the thing that we produce, is not, we don't produce the books, but we produce learning opportunities. And that's where I want you to think about the library when you leave here today, or what are the learning opportunities? This is one of them. This is one way that we do that, but there are a lot of ways that we do that, and we focus on the things that are important to our community. Now, the title of this talk is Libraries Are Good for Business. And I mean business with a big B and business with a little b. When I say business with a little b, I mean hyper-local. We're starting to do, Tony Talent, our Director of Literacy and Learning, came up with this idea, takeovers of small businesses. Cabo Fresh Taco is going to be our first takeover. We're going to go in on lunchtime, take our ebooks, Nooks, and show people how to download books to their ebooks. So we're going to actually go and see how much business we can attract for Cabo Fresh Taco. So that's business. We're helping business with a little b. This picture on the bottom here is in Uptown Charlotte. Co-locating libraries, or libraries being located close to business. Think about all the traffic that we drive into this building every day in our branches. Over 5,000 people visit libraries throughout our county every day. That's good for business. But what I really mean is business with a big B. We are good for the economy in multiple ways, and we are integral to making this place that we live in economically resilient, and generating economic activity. When I was in Minnesota, fine state that I really do love, one of the reasons I loved it because I was introduced to people like Art Rolnick. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. You probably shouldn't be. But he is the chair of the, well, he is the head of, was the head of vice president, excuse me, of research and development for the Federal Reserve Bank in Minneapolis. And the Federal Reserve Banks, as you know, care about inflation, unemployment, business cycle, banking conditions, all of those things. Why would he care about early childhood? And what he found out was the best way to promote local economic development, if you had to change policies or what to look at, was to support early childhood development, invest in children early. Okay, so because he says, and his folks at the bank and the researchers that he worked with realize that if a child has a very slow start, if they're far behind in kindergarten, odds are the criminal justice system is going to see them somewhere down the road 5, 10, 15 years later. Okay, so that's one example of people that are thinking about big B, business and economy. The other one is this publication, Leveraging Higher Education for a Stronger South Carolina. Governor Sanford's task force in 2009 reported that overwhelming evidence reveals that higher levels of education lead to greater prosperity and competitiveness in the knowledge economy. More education, more money. Okay, I was an art major in school, and so in undergraduate school, so I had like math for art majors, which wasn't much. Thank goodness. But I am a visual thinker. So when I started putting all this together about how the libraries impact business and the economy, this is the formula I came up with, okay? You follow this? Early education leads to high school graduation and higher achievement equals better jobs equals more money. And who doesn't want to see that? That's good for all of us. So these are the areas where the library and our foundation are really focusing on. We're focusing on what we do for young children, how we support student learners, and how we help people get jobs. And here's why we're focusing on those things. We know that 1 out of every 4 children entering first grade in Richland County is not ready to learn at grade level. We know that 30% are assessed as not ready for reading, and we know that there are 300 licensed child care centers in Richland County. The mayor and our children are in one of them, and that 60% of children are in child care. So this is why this is important to the library. The other reason we know that it's important is because by the time a child is 5 years old, he will have heard 90% of all the words he will ever know. Does anybody know a 5-year-old? You have to listen to them talk and think of it in that context. So these are your future employees, your future residents. By the time they are 5, they will know 90% of the words they will ever know. There's one skill that matters above all others in being a prime predictor in school success or failure, and that is the size of a child's vocabulary upon entering school. So this first part of the equation about what are we doing for young children to help them start them on the path to success, well, at the library, we spend a lot of time reminding parents that reading to children and talking to your children, it's important, it's free, and it doesn't take a lot of time. The National Institute for Literacy showed that kindergartners who were read to at least 3 times a week were almost twice as likely to score in the top 25% of literacy tests. 3 times a week, we're asking parents and caregivers to read to their children. Well, I think they can do it every day for 20 minutes. So that is the message that we're trying to get to our community. We have over 20,000 interactions with children under the age of 5 and their parents every year. That is a lot of times for us to be reinforcing that message about if you want your child to be successful in life, you want them to be successful in school, you've got to start early. We also do outreach to child care centers. All those children that are in child care, we have been funded by grants in the past, but this is a growing area for us. We did 287 workshops for teachers, for child care providers last year, and on average, we pull out of our collection about 2,000 books every month to send to child care professionals so they have those books in the classroom. Let's go to the second part of the equation, the high school graduation, that learning attainment piece. Only 3 of every 5 South Carolina students will graduate from high school on time. That costs us money, and it means that somebody's got to support them to go on and get their GED. Hopefully they all will do that, and I'll give you some information about what we do for that as well. And then in the years between 2006 and 2008, 22.5% of students in Richland County dropped out of school. It doesn't mean they didn't finish eventually. It means they didn't finish in traditional ways. Why this is important to the library is because 75% of a child's time is not spent in the classroom. Student learners are not in the classroom on the weekends, in the evenings, during the summertime. Where are they? Who is helping them not have that summer slide? Summer slide being referred to as that grade level slip in the summer when you have all those months off and you're not in the classroom. And a recent study showed that more than half of the achievement gap between lower and higher income youth can be explained by unequal access to summer learning opportunities. As a result, low-income youth are less likely to graduate from high school or enter college. So what is the library? Why does the library care about this, and what are we doing about it? Well, every year we have a summer reading program. Every year we are encouraging and giving incentives for kids to read during the summer, and we do this in very aggressive ways. We don't let kids leave this library, and we try to get them in here without a stack of books in their hand. And we have over 20,000 kids participate every summer. We also do, on our computers over here in the Job Center, and actually any of our computers, you can use Learning Express. Learning Express is an online tutorial program and that you can practice business writing, math skills improvement, reading skills improvement. You can also practice the GED and any graduate school entrance exam prep. And actually, those 2 things I just mentioned are the top 2 uses we get out of Learning Express in the library: people practicing for the GED and graduate school entrance exam prep. 15,000 people are out of work in Richland County. Just under 2,000 people a month file initial unemployment claims in Richland County. This is why we have a job center in the library, because it's important to our community. And libraries' jobs have always been about answering people's questions. And guess what question they're asking? I just lost my job. How do I file for unemployment? I don't know. I don't have an email account. How do I fill out this job application without an email account? So in the summer of 2009, we got a $438,000 grant from the Knight Foundation, which allowed us to essentially double the number of computers we have in this building and some of our other branches. We opened our Eastover branch on Tuesdays for classes. We hired a career counselor and a job readiness trainer, and they're both standing right over here, Lana and Jennifer, and the staff of the Job Center. And that really changed our perspective on how libraries provide help for job seekers. So a few statistics about the Job Center. Since we opened in December of 2009, we assist more than 500 people a month in this Job Center up here. And that's staff interactions with them, sitting down with them, taking them through the stages that you'll see over here on the tour. We have 4,224 staff-assisted contacts year-to-date throughout the entire library system, and over almost 1,500 of those are with assistance with helping people with online applications, and about 1,000 of those were resume writing. These are a little dated because these are as of December. And 25,000 times the computer was used. We asked everybody for the full year, or half the year last year, what are you doing when you get on a computer at the library? 19,000 people said they were filling out online job applications. And 5,000 of them said they were writing resumes or cover letters. According to Internet World Stats, more than 239 million of Americans are online, but nearly a third of Americans still lack access to broadband. And according to the FCC, this is a quote from them, libraries are the most frequent site of broadband access outside the home. I don't know about you, but broadband to me is not an amenity. It is a necessity. And it's as important these days as electricity and water to some of us. But 78% of the people who use libraries for their connectivity also say they have computers somewhere else. But the reason they use them here and not the somewhere else, they vary, but some of them are, we have faster speeds. We have more ability to print or to do other things that they can't do at home. Or they have the computer, but they can't afford to pay for their internet access anymore. The other thing that seems like a natural expansion of what we do, and we do pretty well and want to do more of this, is that there is great potential for public libraries to strengthen economic growth and resilience in micro and small business sector development. So 2.8 million times every month, business owners and employees use resources at the public library to support their small business. The ways that we do that here, we do classes, workshops, we partner with lots of people, and we have lots of databases that we pay for that are free for Richland County cardholders. So if you know somebody who's interested in starting a small business, please send them to the Job Center. If we can't help them, we know the partners that can. But we help everyone do things from choosing a small business to creating a business plan. We have some fantastic online handbooks that give great business plan samples. We do marketing for small business. So we have a whole host of services, and you can see as you go through the tour some of those things. And these are just a couple examples of some of the, and you have a calendar in your packet, so this is just a couple of examples of some of the kinds of programs that we do. We do a social networking for small businesses class, which is really popular. We partner with the bar to do legal aspects of starting a small business. We partner with Small Business Administration and the Small Business Development Center. One of the things that we do is I started a business success stories from our community, because there's nothing like hearing somebody else's story about how that worked to inspire you to do it yourself. And with that, I'll leave you with this, which I hinted at just a minute ago. I love this quote by Alvin Toffler, who's a science fiction writer, but I think he nailed it. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that is the business that libraries are in, helping people learn, unlearn, and relearn in ways both big and small. Thank you so much for being here this morning.